So we officially heard Little Durk's pissed me off. Now this is a little different approach to how Little Durk normally does things. So when he said he was when pissed me off came off, it's a weird touch. We don't get really into this after a word from our sponsor, but yeah, Little Durk pissed me off is a different kind of feel that he brings to this track, and I think he's directly aiming it at somebody, but they're also subliminals. Well, some of these are, some of these aren't. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff happening with Dirk that he explains and pissed me off, right? So he has a long explanation of saying that ties between the two people aren't really going the way they should because you're doing what you want to do and not really helping the person that needs it, which it's it's who you associate yourself with basically in the rap game. And it could go two in one ways. And I think the second way is you kind of mess up your ties with that person and you also mess the people who you're associated with, which I want to get into that. If there is something you're dealing with and you don't have the platform to say it, or you're scared it's going to be retaliation, I do want to kind of say that there are ways to handle it. Don't necessarily go to the handling it yourself because that could lead you in more serious crimes than you already are, or that you are already in. And so, I'd either say cut ties or just don't associate yourself with that person or the people around them. So while we get into this conversation of what Dirk said in this song, Dirk had a lot of lyrics. He was saying that I know a lot of y'all ran into my crib. I think he says you ran into my crib as he knows the people that ran into his crib and tried to vandalize his crib that he was living in. I think there was one report that said that. So he's saying, I know who you are, and it's kind of shady that you did it. He also simply says that he would give his girlfriend a gun, which is always good. Your partner's always supposed to be your ride and die. In some situations, it's not always that case, but in some cases, it should be. So that's always good to hear. Also, he also says that there are people that you didn't want to do anything for that person, but you could have put bond. Something happened to that person. You're sad about it, but you're not putting up the bond for the person or doing other things so I can carry out actions to retaliate. Which I do really want. I do want to retaliate or put a bond and let them free or all of this stuff. I do want to say that please think you're give it the 48-hour rule. So give it that hour that it happened, and then give it 2 days after. And if you feel the same way, do what you prefer to do. But always think about the consequences, because not everything you do has a pro to it. It does have some cons to it. So I do want to put that out there heavily. But he's saying you don't want to put up calculate bonds for people or the person that you feel like you really behind. He also says that there's a lot of people, and I don't know if he means on social media, but there are a lot of people claiming black that they don't represent, especially the black that he lives in. People are claiming it and don't necessarily live there, which I don't know if he finds disrespectful or offensive, or it's just like you want to put that in there, unless he knows people in his real life where they do associate that, like they've never been there, but they claim that's where they're from. But he says people from different states claiming. So I would assume he's talking about the fans or something where people really do get attached to the artist and where they're from and a lot of things. So I think that's what he means. I'm not entirely sure, but I think that's what he means. He says rappers gonna do what they need to do and carry themselves in their ways. He says I also know people that carry themselves in their ways, but they're not rappers. So just saying, just disassociation, a thing where he's saying that not all people that do what they want to become rappers, and not all rappers are thugs. I guess is the old situation, because a lot of rappers got their names from actual gangsters and gangsters that they got funding from gangsters, from like the mafia and stuff like that. And he says that there are a lot of people faking for the gram that aren't really even around me or really show me real love, which I think comes back to his first part where he says, "I know you ran into my crib, like you claim to be buddy with me on gram, but share or Instagram or social media, but behind the cameras, we're not really messing with each other. We rarely even talk." He also says, you know all the information before the gram because I always tell you everything. Like we close. But when you get on the gram, you act all fake. So I'm not sure how he referenced that, but that is what pissed me off. My little Durk was really about. He had some really clever lines. I think some of these are subliminals. So